Cesar, the crowd pleaser. If you need to pick me up, ladies, we gon' change your demeanor. Caesar, the crowd pleaser. We gon' do a little dance, we gon' make the naysayers believe us. Hey girl, had a long day, you tired from work. Throw me some dollars and I'll remove my shirt. You can touch me too, these are the perks. Free yourself, lose your mind and go berserk, and go berserk, and go berserk, and go berserk.
Make way for the bad guy.
What is up, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of Crowd Pleaser, the podcast that brings you the inside scoop on what it takes to be a male entertainer in today's age. I'm your host, Cesar the Crowd Pleaser, and this is going to be episode 54, where my co-host and I are going to be talking about importance of special events, like why we have special events, why we do them, what we get out of them, and why you should consider doing them as well. So without further ado, let me go ahead and bring on my co-host, which hopefully I've signed him on full time, so he's signed his life away and be on the show every time now, which is going to make interviewing that much interesting. He is the, what are we calling you now? The king of Central Texas? Is that what we're calling you?
That's what they're saying.
All right, so we have the king of Central Texas, a performer on stage both in dance ability and musicality and singing ability. I want to welcome back on the show Mandingo Jones. What's up, brother?
I'm happy to be here. Ric Flair style. Woo! Oh wait, I can't do that. Yeah, it's kind of. I need to be quiet in here.
Oh, it's not that late yet. We're all right. You might be all right. I doubt if we'll do it all the time though, or if we do it all night long, they might complain. But I think you're good for right now. Cool, man. So Mandingo is going to be on the show, which is great. I've been wanting a co-host for quite some time since Tyler left, and now I got one, and he is a fan favorite. And so you guys will be hearing his amazing voice repeatedly on the show. I actually super excited to do interviews with you on the show now, so it's not just me asking questions and we get a perspective. Plus, I can kind of play devil's advocate when we do certain topics and not kind of agree with everything that's going on.
What if I want to play devil's advocate?
If you want a shot at the title, bro, have at it.
All
right. So moving on, I want to go ahead and mention a couple of things. First, you can give back to the show if you're enjoying what you're listening to, think it's pretty great, want to contribute to future shows. You can visit us at patreon.com/crowdpleaser, where you can donate as little as $1 a show and as much as you want. You get all kinds of great perks. I send out prints every week, or every month, sorry. Behind the scenes footage, extra content like uncut versions of the show and things like that. So definitely check it out there. Every week or every podcast, we shout out to a special patron. Tonight, we're going to be shouting out Christopher Collazo. That's right, my brother is on the Patreon. And I just want to say, Christopher, you rock. So thank you so much for contributing. Next up, we have La Bear Dallas. This is where both Mandingo Jones and I operate 5 nights a week, Wednesday to Sunday. You can check us out from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. We party all night long with great performers hitting the stage. We could put up birthday girls, bachelorette girls, girls night out. It doesn't matter. You name it, just a random person. We could put them up on stage and have a lot of fun. That being said, we also do private parties. That's right. You can contact the club and hire 1 or 2 of your special favorite entertainers to bring this kind of great show to your own private event. So definitely check that out as well. All right. Well, that is everything. So let's go ahead and dive right into the main topic. And Dingo, you've been in the game a long time. I think actually just not too long after I started, you started. And if there's anything that is a constant in our career is that we have special events at our respective clubs, whether it's a strip off, whether it's a charity event, whether it's a birthday, or just celebrating a certain holiday like Valentine's Day or New Year's, we have special events. So right off the bat, basic things about it. Why do you think we do this as a collective?
People love special events.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're performers. We're for the people. People love special events. People love special events. Well, as much as we love and hate them. That's how much people love special events. Like they're 100%. They love them.
Yeah, I agree. And the reason why I think you say that we love and hate them is the fact that they bring so many positives to the club, which we're going to talk about now. but the fact that they typically require a lot more effort upon the entertainer's standpoint.
Sure.
Which, let's go ahead and push that. Like, why are special events good for entertainers? Right off the bat, I'll tell you that on the surface level, it packs the club with people, but on a more personal level, it gives you an excuse. Not that you really need one, but it kind of gives you a schedule and a goal to set to improve yourself, whether it be to set up a photo shoot, to create a new routine, to improve your physical body or your dance ability, or to just kind of become a more predominant figure on stage helping other guys. And a lot of times when you have that quote unquote 9-to-5 job and you're in that kind of repetitive cycle, it's very difficult to break that and want to do something more without good reason. And these special events, whether they're your own or public, primarily, like for example for us, strip offs, really help you find that motivation to break the mold in some form or fashion. And some of the best routines I've seen created were created for a specific strip off.
Yeah. I mean, you look at guys like Cherokee who already had a bunch of great acts. He would take time to make another act that was somehow even better than the acts that he already had for specifically a special event. I mean, I've seen him do an act that I've never seen him do again. And I understand why, because it looked like it took a whole bunch of effort. But like you said, special events test who you are as an entertainer. It's like there's live performances every day for artists, and then there's the Grammys. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how it is. There's a celebrity birthday party you're performing at, or whatever. There's like you said, it packs the house and it puts people in front of the entertainer. So obviously, when people think about packing the house, they think about, you know, how much money the entertainer is going to make or how much money the club would make. But when you look at it, putting those people in front of an entertainer is going to show what that entertainer is made of. It's going on that list of guys that's going up that night. You're going to see who is separated from being, and I hate to say it this way, a filler spot or being a true entertainer.
No, and you're completely 100% right. And that's actually one of the things I like about it, is that it raises the bar for everyone there, whether you're a veteran or a new rookie. And it really helps that as well when, you know, the rookies come in and they see the kind of caliber that people bring on the show. Like, you start to feel inadequate. Like, you feel like you did something wrong or you don't deserve to be on that stage when everyone's bringing these phenomenal shows, and then you're just bringing the same old walkout routine or something like that. You feel embarrassed. And so it gives you, through pseudo negative reinforcement, a reason to not want to be left behind and up your game. And then you realize, especially for these rookies, that when they put the effort of creating a legitimate production show, that it was worth it, and the women enjoy it, and the other guys enjoy helping with it, and they feel good about it, and they continue to do so.
At the end of the day, yeah, definitely. Everything you said is accurate and on point. Another detail about it that people don't see it as a godsend in this way until afterwards. You're like, oh, well, now I have a new act I can do regularly. You know what I'm saying? They have something to add to the rotation now. Without that special event to put them in the mindset to make that new act, they would have had the same few acts that they would have been doing already. They would have never actually made something new that they could add to the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Yeah.
That's one thing Mason used to tell me. I don't know if you remember Mason.
Yeah, very much so.
He was a great entertainer as well. So the one thing he told me was that he looked at me, he was just like, well, whatever you place, it doesn't matter. Really, you have a new really good act for Saturday nights. You're going to see a lot more Saturday nights than you're going to see strip-offs. You know what I'm saying? So now you have a new act to throw into your Saturday night, you know, possibilities, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And you did mention something as far as Cherokee doing a routine that he's never done again. And yeah, I've fallen into that boat as well. My water dance routine that I did for two strip offs ago was the same thing. It was one of those things where you're trying to break the mold. You're trying to outdo yourself from last time, your past self. And I was like, all right, I guess this is the best I could do. And I ended up doing it. And Alex literally in the middle of my routine, it walked up to the stage, is like, Cesar, this is awesome. Don't ever do it again. Because the stage was covered in water and money and splash zone, and the judges had ponchos on. And so it kind of adds a little bit of prestige to it, where like, hey, were you there for the one time that so-and-so did this routine? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you've never seen it. Wow, you've missed out. And so it's kind of neat. Like, for example, Brandon Byers has a Matrix act where he comes out as Morpheus. I've never seen that routine. And I know now he'll never do it again. But for the first 2 years I was there, I was like, hey, man, are you ever going to do that show? Like, I'll help if you teach me. Like, I just want to see it. It sounds amazing. And so it adds that extra level of like history and kind of raising the bar, like you said, and challenge. And then it fuels that fire for other people of like, well, will I be able to outdo that, you know?
For sure.
Now, there is a flip side to that, though, and those that do not have the intestinal fortitude or the grit, the mettle to sustain social defeat, if you will, it could be a harsh blow. There have been some guys that have bought into the hype, wanted to do something amazing. They put in their best effort, and they end up not doing well for one reason or another, and they don't take it very well. What are your experiences with that?
I mean, I've been that guy.
Well, throw it down, man. Let us have it. What's up? What act was it? When was it? What happened?
Shoot, I was that guy when you did Ghost Rider at our club.
No, I didn't win with Ghost Rider.
Well, no, you didn't. You got second?
Maybe, probably. Second place seems to be my sweet spot.
I think I got fourth.
Okay.
But I definitely thought that I was going to place higher. I'm just saying that particular strip off that was the first time I did Egyptian.
Oh, got you. And that is an absolutely mind-blowing act too.
I thought that I was going to place higher. And but yeah, that's everybody goes through that unless you're Juice. For the most part, Juice walked in, was like, "Oh, I got first. Oh my God, I didn't expect it. I got first again." And it's like, you already know what's happening.
Yeah,
but
everyone's kind of playing for second place when Juice is in the building.
Pretty much. That's how I feel sometimes. But it's like I was definitely at that stage at one point in time, and I've seen several guys at that stage in their first few years where they do get into the whole they jump onto the momentum. They get the momentum of all that we do when we're preparing for something drags them there, but they don't get the results that they wanted from it. They don't realize that they're not seeing that they need to find out why they lost. They're not looking at what they could have done better to make the act irresistible to the judges. Like, some acts are good, but they're just not irresistible.
Yeah.
Like, there are some acts where you're like, okay, this just has to win. Like, everything, like, you just, like, this, like, yeah, this one, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of others that are, like, so good, but they're all up in the air. They're all kind of bouncing around, floating around to see who places higher. But then there's that one act sometimes that a lot of people don't know how to make that act that's irresistible.
It takes some trial and error, some hit and miss for sure. Like we just talked about, I've had my fair share of not placing. My very first routine was my robot act. Granted, I was the first one on the roster, which is never a good spot for a strip off. And I did a solo, and I was in the club less than 6 months, but I was dead last. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not dead last. I think I was like third to last out of like 20 something guys. But I took that a little rough as well, but it's like, hey, you know what? You learn, you adapt, you overcome, and you either decide on whether you're going to be mediocre for the rest of it or you keep trying. And I think it ends up fueling a drive that will help you across the board, both in increasing your performance, increasing the respect you receive from others, and increasing your respect from from the ladies, and at the end of the day, making more money as well. Because that drive and that passion is going to reflect on stage, and people are going to appreciate it.
Well said.
All right. So moving on, we talked about how it's good for the guys. How is it good for the club? I think on the surface, obviously, it's going to bring in, it's going to be the highest concentration of women because regardless of what day women are going to show up, when they have a special event, they want to be part of a theme. They want to hang out with their friends and they want to support their favorite entertainers. And so it's good for the club because it brings in the highest count of women on any one given night and they came prepared to party. But another side factor to that as well is the fact that a lot of women find it as a good excuse to bring in first timers. Women that have never been to the club are more inclined to go when it's a special event, some kind of contest or something that kind of takes a little bit of the taboo-ness of it being a strip club out of the equation. And Definitely. And I think it's great because like we just talked about, guys are going to be bringing their best A game. And so, hey, bam, the women are going to get, the best show they possibly can. How are your thoughts on being a guy that travels a lot for strip offs and events like that? How do you feel you going and being at a different event works with first time women? Like, do you feel it is a positive because you're just a great entertainer, period, and things are going to work out? Or do you feel like it might have a slight awkward connotation because you might not necessarily know all the rules and dynamics of a club and these women won't know either? Like, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, a lot of that's always, no matter what, I can't think about all of those because it just makes it harder for me to perform. I'm just like, okay, wherever I at, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go. Where do I need to adjust on that? This is what I think about when it comes to those kind of things. And then I'll bounce to how it is, beneficial for the women right after this statement. But what I do when I go to places for strip offs, I look at the stage. I make my adjustments. I do my rehearsals for myself. We do our rehearsals together. We make sure our audio is good and it's go time. That's pretty much all I'm thinking about. Mm-hmm. So all of the dimensions that you mentioned would get in my way if I tried to think about any of that. Part of me thinking about that, part of it hinders you as an entertainer to think too much. At this point, I've done it long enough to where it's like, go ball. We've practiced enough. Just go catch the ball and when it's thrown at you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to being beneficial for the women, they see new acts and they see new guys. They see things they've never seen before, and that's always a plus when it comes down to it. When you have a bunch of guys from different places, it also encourages women to come back. Whether these guys might be there or not, they understand that there's more outside of these guys that they would just see there regularly. And for women who already go to the club, when guys come from out of town they've never seen, oh, I've seen you talk to Mandingo on Facebook. And I've seen y'all joke around back and forth in comment picture thread or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I've been looking forward to meeting you or seeing you. And now I get to see you on stage. You're a great performer. Like, I've gotten some good results from, definitely from your show, the reality show, where somebody's been like, I saw you on the show. I thought this was great. I'm glad I saw you in person. I'm like, oh, you know what I'm saying? But it's harder to make that happen without events where guys from a bunch of different places are coming together. Mm-hmm. So it's beneficial for the women to see new guys. And if they see the same guys they always see, to see new acts. Like, we're making those acts for them. We're not making them for us. Those, there are some acts we do for us, but we're making those acts at the end of the day for them to enjoy. So they get to see new ones because there's a special event now, and these guys have been encouraged to make something new. If we can, we can bounce back and forth between the previous question, which kind of tied into it just a little bit, mm-hmm. but yeah, they get to see new acts and they get to see new guys. I think that it's like as somebody coming to see that sort of thing, if that don't turn you on, then you ain't got no switches. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, there's no denying that it's being brought. Like we've said already multiple times on the show, everyone's best foot is forward when they come to the show. So for people, and yeah, it's a great point that you mentioned, the fact that we're bringing in guys from other clubs and stuff like that is great for the women, because when they see on social media or through the reality show or through the podcast or just in general hearsay and word of mouth of other entertainers from out of town, when they might not necessarily be in a position to go to that entertainer's town and see them on their stage. When they know they're coming into town, they make the extra effort to be there because they wanted to meet people, which is absolutely phenomenal. You know, I just, like, for example, there's two sisters that come to the club to see you and I. And that's absolutely great because, you know, they've gone to sat down to San Antonio with me back when Hard Bodies was a thing. And now they're coming into the club here when you're up in town. So it's really great that, like, that kind of pseudo, like, long distance kind of, if you would, relationship can kind of grow and happen because of the fact that we have special events that bring people from out of town.
Yeah, it's true.
Let's see. So another thing is we were talking primarily about strip offs, but then also birthday parties and special events like New Year's and Valentine's Day are also things that people and the women are enjoy doing because let's just face it, women like dressing up, women like being part of a group or doing something snazzy, giving them an excuse to be a little different. And so when we have these birthday themes where women are able to dress up, it really kind of adds a little bit of spice to the night and encourages them to be more of a family kind of experience, you know, where everyone is part of a bigger thing. Whether they knew it or not, they all appreciate the effort that each other one went to on a personal level. So it kind of brings the club a little together a little bit further. You know, it's a little less about rooting for your favorite guy or maybe your respective club and more about, hey, we're all did this theme together. Do you see that back when Hard Bodies was doing kind of theme events, or not necessarily, or what's up?
I didn't see it as well as some people see it, but I do see it that way. However, somebody who's really good with those details is Juice. He was one of the ones who'd be like, look, because my party themes weren't as vividly spelled out as his were. Mine were, confusing sometimes. I was just like, oh, it's my birthday. I'm just going to do it this way. He was like, no, bro, you got to do it like this because this specifics, give him this, give him this. But after him explaining it so many times, whether I wanted to hear it or not, he explained it anyway. So I heard it. And yeah, I definitely see that a lot more now in my career. It's more apparent to me now. I'm looking for it now. My eyes are open to it now. It was not a few years back. I would say about the last 2 years I've grown to be a lot better about noticing that sort of thing. And I've actually noticed it a lot more that I've been more attentive to it. Like women have, I guess I don't want to say the love of, but they do like you say, to fit to a theme that they can blossom out to be their best in for that night. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense. Like they theme parties with matching costumes and they get so, I do you sometimes feel there's like competition between like who has the best costume?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Like women love a little friendly competition, especially if there's someone that they low key don't like in the club. They're definitely gonna try to make sure they can outdo the person. And
been listening to this like,
yeah, they're gonna be like, nah, not me. I don't play that way. But deep down, they know what's up. Especially if it's one of those things. It's great too, because I mean, sometimes they'll just do it out of spite. There'll be women that'll come to my birthday and they don't even like me, but they'll come all out just because they want to outdo someone that they know was gonna come dressed up. So I think it's fun. I think a little friendly competition always breeds more creativity and more participation. Let me ask you, you saying that, and I will admit I am on the juice boat because I feel I actually pick my themes for my birthdays based on how difficult or easy I feel, mainly how easy I feel it would be to acquire costumes for the said theme. So let me ask you this: how big of a difference did you see from Juice's birthdays and yours because of that, like, slight attention to detail he would add to the little extra things?
It was easier to wear costumes for his. Mine was kind of vague. His was like, oh yeah, I know exactly what I can wear to this girl. Mine would be like, well, I guess I can make that work. Like that's a difference in the that is a difference in the actual result.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his attention to detail definitely changed the results of the parties. He just had an eye for it way quicker than I did. he just knew. I don't know if I don't know if he used to organize parties years ago or something, but he just knew what he was doing. And when I saw, like, when I started to pay attention to it, when I saw women actually come, it was almost uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Parties were almost uniform, and mine was just, the women were. You could tell some of them had to think really hard about what to wear to mine because I didn't make it that clear what to wear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But my decorations would be dope. Shout out to Desiree Cunningham. She used to, man, she decorated my Egypt one, and she decorated my Caribbean kind of theme one. See, that one was confusing. There was clouds and there was Christian and it was just
Caribbean kind of. Damn, got it. All right.
I mean,
It's a technique. It's a technique, not the preferred technique, but a technique.
it was real confusing. And then, of course, this last year, kind of put something together last minute. Shout out to Anjali for hooking that one up. But, the results of his promotion of his parties and the way he marketed it and gave it to people and told them, like, yo, this is what you're doing. Come ready. The results were just way different than mine.
Yeah. So is there anything that you learned from the events that XL would throw? Because obviously, I mean, part of his side hustle is the event planner, and he's been in the game quite a long time. So what did you see from that? Is there anything that you could have taken away from his events that you kind of picked up on that was a pattern?
Yeah. The tenacity of promotion, number one, and I picked up how much it takes to actually organize everything, like how many people you need to deal with and how important it actually is to outsource your work. He overworked himself sometimes, in my opinion, but he still got it done.
Mm-hmm.
But there were some cases where he could have outsourced some work and, made things easier on him. That way he could focus more energy on less things and, have people specialize in certain things and get that done. Which he did some of, but I think he could have done a little bit more of it. I did notice just the whole organizing, the way to organize it, the way to prepare the tickets, the way to dealing with like tickets and door fees and like paying the bar staff, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
on what club you're dealing with, everything's different. It's the same thing also with like organizing a music show. You keep some of the door because, that's how you get paid, and you use that to, pay dancers. If if there's a prize money, the door helps pay the dancers and all that good stuff. So just the fundamentals of creating an event, I picked up on that. Trying to think how much stress it causes. Picked up on that for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. Any kind of event definitely adds some pressure and some weight to the shoulders, without a doubt.
If anything goes wrong, it's your fault.
True. I mean, it's your event. It's got your name on it, so everything falls back on you.
Yep.
All right. So getting back on track a little bit. So we talked about why it's great for the club. It's great. Why it's great for the ladies. It's great for the entertainers. And it just, I feel like it's part of the process. Like as you build it, that not habit. What's the word? Tradition. As you start to build that tradition, it's something that kind of people start to kind of ingrain, and it creeps the roller coaster up and down, the flow of it, if you will. Like you have your excuse me, you have your regular up and down, like your regular nights that people come in the weekends, but when they know people start prepping, the guys are like, hey, I'm going to start prepping my new show for this strip off because I know this happens every year. Hey man, you got me in July, but I'm going to take it back from you in November. And the ladies start saving up for it and things like that. People plan trips from out of town to kind of meet up with their friends. And so it does create this like tradition, that family habit of continuity between everybody that really kind of sets the bar of like a comfort level. You know what I'm saying? if people go to a concert every year, like, hey, every time this band is in town, we go. It's kind of the same thing when there's an event that you met, like, for example, New Year's. New Year's is a great time for LeBaire because we always bring in female entertainers to perform, and it starts to create that tradition of like, yeah, we work New Year's, we go to LeBaire because my husband and I can go enjoy the show together. Female entertainers want to come out because they had fun kicking with us and doing actual routines in sneakers and not in 6-inch heels, and so you develop that, and I think it just adds another aspect to the enjoyment of experiencing LeBaire and Hard Bodies and the female strip club in general, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man, I think that pretty much covers it. Kind of a short and sweet topic this week. Do you have anything else to add on the topic?
Well, one important, man, I can just see Juice's face from me mentioning this, but one important detail that we left out was just how many things can go wrong right before an event. For the dancers getting stuff together for their acts, you know, that for me is what I've had the most experience in. Whenever it's like, oh, one of your so and so's actually shipped later, so you're not going to get it until maybe right before you need it. And it's like, come on, man. But it's like every time you're trying to get something, at least in my experience,
Mm-hmm.
there's a budget you can't make, or there's something you just can't access on time, or something broke that you were just hoping made it through that Sunday. It's like that kind of thing happens quite a bit, and I don't think it's highlighted enough. I see it every year. If it ain't me, it's Juice. If it ain't Juice, it's Martine. At least from what I was seeing from the past years of who I was with. If it ain't him, it's Suave. If it ain't him, it's Casey. Like somebody somewhere, even if not the whole group, there's something missing from their act, or something missing from their props, or something missing from their choreography, or something went wrong with their music, or something at the last minute is just making it really difficult for you to finish what you need to finish. Like, it happens every single time. You can't tell me you've never seen this.
I've seen it. I just don't experience it because I take care of stuff ahead of time. I'm kind of proactive. You know what I'm saying? Proper planning prevents piss poor performance, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I get it, but
I mean, I'm the kind of guy where I know what my routine is 6 months ahead of time. So I'm putting stuff together. Like, I have everything in the building ordered and done with like 2 weeks ahead because of that, because exactly of what you were talking about, where that stuff I don't want to stress myself out being like, is this going to make it here on time? Is it not? I do understand when you're traveling, that is the hardest thing. I have experienced that quite a bit, even myself, where you just taking what you want, like you built your routine for your stage, and when you got to take it to another stage, transporting it is a pain in the butt. Trying to manipulate it so it works on somebody else's stage is a pain in the butt. Trying to let another DJ know, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is what I need you to do, and he's never seen your show. So there is a lot of things that just are inherent are going to be issues. So I feel you on that, but I think that's part of the excitement and professionalism and challenge of doing what we do. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like what we talked about in the Strippergram meeting, you know, a couple of weeks ago, where it was like, yeah, you know, you can probably pay $50 to have an entertainer, quote unquote entertainer, come to your house and do a Strippergram, but you're going to get what you pay for versus when you hire someone that's been trained and is an actual performer and professional. So I kind of feel like that comes with the territory as well, where you just got to understand, like, if you're going to make an elaborate show that is worth doing on any stage, there's going to be some logistical issues with it one way or another. You know what I'm saying?
Always.
But I feel you. I mean, it never fails. Anytime anyone goes to another club, hey, man, do you have an extra set of jeans? Hey, brother, do you have a button down this? Does someone carry this? You know what I'm saying?
Mask.
Yeah.
There's one of them right there.
Yeah.
All it takes is for you to be having to go somewhere and pack everything, but you didn't pack everything. That's all it takes.
Oh yeah, shoot. Yeah, actually, I take that back. That reminded me though. One of the times I went down there by myself. So I took my vampire routine and I took my cowboy routine because they were both solos, and packed everything. And I hand carried my cowboy hat because I didn't want it to get messed up. But lo and behold, I get down there and I completely forgot my the burning book that I used for my vampire. So Trey and I last minute went driving around to and finagled one together. Went to Half Price Books, picked up an old encyclopedia, and then had to run around and do the jerry rigging stuff to make it burn and whatnot. So yeah, I mean it is a thing. It is a thing, but I once again I go back to my end of where I feel like it is a really pseudo challenging part of the job, of the fact that we don't have someone to stage hands to do all this stuff for us, where that is their only responsibility. Instead, it is upon us to handle everything for ourselves, both on and behind the scenes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But good point, man. Good point. The so on that, do you feel like have you tried the bin method, essentially, like trying to have a bin that has all the stuff for one routine in it and another bin for all the stuff for another routine, and that way when you travel, you know, hey, as long as you take that bin, everything's gonna be in there?
Yeah, I do have stuff like that. My Egyptian act's pretty much all together like that. My Aztec act was all together like that. My pirate stuff was kind of scattered. But yeah, I did have some stuff like that where I just grab and go. Ringleader was together. I just grab and go on that one. In and out, boop boop, throw it in the grate. Except for that coat. The coat was hanging up, and the top hat was up there. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
the
well,
cane
yeah, well,
but
there's
those
some,
little.
yeah, there's some stuff you just can't throw wherever you want because they'll start messing up the integrity of it and whatnot. You can't have that. So
Yeah.
all right, cool, man. Well, I think we're gonna call that a show, bro. So let's move on to the worst and best events of the week. Let's go ahead and have you start us off this week, and let me know what your worst event of the week is.
Well, I was planning on going back to the Central Texas area, but I didn't actually like. I kind of forfeited where I was staying. So I was about to take off, and then I realized I need to stay another week, but I couldn't stay where I was staying. So I had to basically get a hotel, but you can't check in at a hotel until I didn't make the deposit I needed yet. So I had to wait until I made that deposit, which wasn't until 9 in the morning because my bank didn't open until 9.
Mm-hmm.
So to make that deposit before I could even check in. Because I called him, I was like, check in usually is after like 3. And I was like, yo, I need to get there, yada yada. I don't have anywhere to stay right now. They were like, oh, of course, sir. You can come in here. We have a room. But you have to have the money on the card when you get here. I thought they were going to charge it a few days later. I was like, okay. So I went and just had to fandangle my way around until 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then I made the deposit then, and it was good from there on out. But that was pretty much my worst event of the week. Just bad timing on my part.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. That's occasionally that when you throw your plans off like that and you're kind of like, well, all we want to do is lay down, put your head down and relax. You got to essentially figure out what to do until then. It proves to be a not so happy experience.
Nah, but hey, here I am.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't kill you, so you move on. All right, with me, mine was actually on a strippergram. I had a strippergram at a banquet hall. It was a 18th birthday, 21st birthday, and I get in there, and actually Leo came with me, and so it's not a big deal. Like I've done strippergrams for that many people, and they're actually quite easy because the party is kind of vibing on itself. You know what I mean? You get in there, people are already having a good time. The music's loud, this and that. So we get through the skit and stuff. We have the chairs set up, and we end up. It was mixed crowd, which I always think is kind of nice because then no one kind of overreacts. Granted, I will say they were pretty intoxicated, both male and female, so we had to deal with a little bit of that. But no big deal. Nothing that I haven't handled before. But what made this strippergram so bad is a thing that's a social dilemma, I feel like, and it's actually people that have been listening to the show for a long time have started to pick up on this for me. It's a major issue for me across the board. But so we had the 5 chairs, the hot seats that girls were jumping in and out of for us to dance on. And then periodically we would go out into the crowd and dance for groups of women that were just kind of sitting too shy to come up. Well, every single woman there, minus the birthday girl was intoxicated beyond belief. And actually, we only danced on her a couple of times because I guess eventually either her boyfriend or fiance or somebody came up and just decided he was going to dance on her the whole time. And they preferred that. So we were like, cool, no big deal. We're like, okay, cool. Guess like you've got her, bro. Right on. Good for you. We're going to go ahead and take care of everybody else. He's like, yeah, all right, cool. I was like, all right. Poor Leo, because it was a Mexican party, so he didn't understand anything anyone was saying. I just told him, like,
I remember y'all talking about this. He was he was nervous. He was like, they speak Spanish, and I was like, bro, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and every single girl that I danced on, the 2 ladies I didn't. The 2 ladies I danced on, they did not. They were just having a good time, but probably somewhere between 8 to 12 girls that I danced on experienced it through their phone. And I don't mean like they were just filming. I mean like, you know, typically when we're in a strippergram, ladies will record because, you know, today's the age of Snapchat and all that stuff. But when we go up to them, they'll put the phone down or move out of the way and enjoy the dance for what it is.
They kept phone up?
They kept their phone up, and to the point where, like, have you seen those cartoons where like the kid is looking at his parents and all he sees is like a phone? Because, you know, they're recording everything. It is the exact same thing that happened. Like, they kept the phone on their face the entire time. They were recording my crotch. They were recording me. They were recording, like, I mean, it was point blank. Like, I would be surprised if you could see anything. And it just, like, I didn't mind them doing it a little bit, but I mean, literally, I am not exaggerating, Dingo. Like, literally the entire dance they recorded multiple times, to the point where I just stopped going to these girls because I started to get a little insulted. I'm like, are you going to enjoy this, or is this just like a you know, some weird show for you? And I mean,
at least tipping you while they were recording?
No, it was only the ladies that tipped us, but it was just, it just blew my mind away at the fact that, like, I mean, literally I was up on them, you know, like 6 inches away from them dancing, and they were still trying to record things. And it blew my mind that, you know, somewhere, let's just average it out to 10 different women were doing this nonstop. So it was just so weird. I was like, am I not doing a good job where you don't really want to enjoy this? Like, I understood, I chalked it up to some of them maybe being nervous, and that's kind of like their little barrier of like how women hide behind their hair and stuff like that. But the fact that like every single one of them did it the entire time, so probably a collective 2 to 3 minutes per person was just filming, just kind of blew my mind away. And then, you know, the occasional like not really enthusiastic like hoop and hollering, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Where like they're hooping and hollering, but it's pretty monotone-ish. So
yeah, they sound like a one of those tracks from a studio.
Yeah,
From a
bites.
sitcom.
Yeah.
Basic.
Yeah, so it ended up, you know, and then I started to feel a little bad because I'm starting to think like, hey, you know, am I not doing the show that you want? You know, I hope you're enjoying this, blah, blah, blah. They still had a great time, but I don't know, it just kind of, it rubbed me the wrong way. So yeah, that was my less than great experience. We still got paid. They still had a great time. Everyone loved us. And we actually got out of there a little early because they hired a drag queen and a mariachi band to come up behind us. Like, I guess they had a schedule of events. So we actually left there like 15 minutes early because they're like, all right, cool, thanks for the show. The drag queen has to start singing and the mariachi band is warming up. So we're like, okay, cool. Got dressed and bounced.
I'd been ready to leave anyway.
Yeah.
That would have really pissed me off.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it wasn't that bad. A couple of the drunk guys tried to. It was actually kind of funny. At one point, there were 3 guys in the crowd. Because mind you, this was probably about 150 people. There was about 3 different guys in the crowd that started to strip. Because everyone was drunk. So I thought it was great. I was like, sweet, man, you're helping me make money. You know what I mean? Like, okay. So it was an interesting strippergram. But all right, man. Moving on to greener pastures. What was your best event of the week?
You know, honestly, how I've been a collection of things I can tie into one. I was just being, honestly, how I'm being treated in Dallas right now. Somebody came up to me the other day and she told me that she was like, look, I think you're an excellent dancer. I like the way you perform. And she has a twin sister, I believe. Her birthday was this past. Uh, I think Ashley
Monday.
was her name.
Yeah.
I think Ashley was her name. And
Yeah, I know them.
then
They're good people.
Sarah?
I like them quite a bit. Yes, you are correct.
Well, I don't know. It just kind of started off my week very on a very high note because she was just she was appreciative of my performance, I suppose. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Like she was like they were both very supportive of my um stage, I guess, like the way they were kind of like, we're really glad you're here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, well, it's nice to be appreciated. But they're not the only people that have been treating me like that in Dallas. Like people here have been very appreciative and very like um very just like warm to me, you know? Being coming from the situation that I came from recently, it's just very refreshing to know that you're making the right decisions. It's making me feel like I'm making the right decisions by being here. And that's really like, this is what encouraged me to, even though I made the decision to go back home, turn around and be like, nah, I'm not gonna leave just yet. Another week, at least one more week. That's really what kind of pushed me to that because I'm enjoying myself and I feel like it was worth it for me to come here on many levels, not just one level, not just financially, like on many levels. I'm getting to be on stage consistently again. That spark of creativity is flowing back towards that direction, which I shared with making music, but this is, what I'm doing right now. So it's nice to have that spark of creativity and ambition going in this direction. I didn't have that anymore when I was dancing over there. It was just gone, you know?
Yeah, I understand.
When I come over here, it's just completely different. Like I was talking to Suave about it the other day. He was like, "Man, I'm actually excited to go to work. I'm excited to be there at 6:45 because, you know, we were showing up at 6:45 to work till 10. You know what I'm saying? For 2 days out of the week.
Yeah.
We're showing up at 6:45 for 5 days to work till 2. So it's just, you know, we've been received well here so far. And just speaking for myself and just being like the best thing of the week, I guess I could say the best event or events, I guess I could say, is that like my realization that I'm doing the right thing by being here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the universe does a great job as long as you're willing to listen to it, telling you when you're down the right path. And it's great that you are being rewarded on multiple levels, both, financially and supportively, and even people just straight up saying things to you and the way you're feeling. It solidifies that you're taking the right choices.
Indeed.
Sweet, man. That's fantastic. I'm really glad to hear it because it's great having you. I've always enjoyed sharing a stage with you, and to this day that hasn't changed. So I'm glad that it is working out for you.
Appreciate it.
My best event is somewhat similar to yours. Maybe not as intense. Maybe so. I don't know. I think it's pretty amazing. But a longtime friend of mine, she's been coming to see me at the club for over about 4 years now, and she's from out of town, and she had her birthday 2 weeks before mine. And so what she ended up doing is she came in the week before my birthday, and we celebrated her birthday and my birthday together, and it was great because it wasn't that busy of a night, so it was kind of just the two of us having a great time. And it was so great because over the course of the 4 years, I have seen her just evolve and blossom into this amazing woman that was not the case when I met her. And she'll tell you this as well, to the point where I'm actually gonna have her on the show. I'll talk about that in a second. Actually, it comes in the one. So long story short, the best feeling was just us being able to enjoy quality time together. She even got up on stage and made it rain for me, which she normally doesn't do because she's somewhat of a shy person. So that was a big step for her. It was a great experience for me. We enjoyed it. Like I said, we had great conversations that night, and she's just come so far on on her own that we agreed that she needs to be on the show, and she will actually. She will be on the show at some point to talk about her journey and her change and her metamorphosis from the person she was into the person she is now because of coming to the Bear and interacting with us and things like that. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it just left a really good feeling in my gut, you know, that as a whole we could do something so great for somebody, and the fact that I was a part of that, and we were both so appreciative of each other's friendship. So yeah, that was definitely my best event of the week for sure. And she'll probably blush just hearing this over the podcast, because she does listen to podcasts. But I'm going to have her and one other lady that agreed, that was in a similar situation where they were kind of in a low point of their life. They started coming to La Bear and ended up changing them for the better on the show, because I think it's something that a lot of people might be able to relate with, either for themselves or know someone that's in that position that could use, maybe not necessarily going to La Bear, but maybe just some of the things that they overcame and they could relate to and use that for them to improve themselves as well.
Feels good, don't it?
Feels darn good, man. Darn good, for sure. Kind of, it's like one drop of, I mean, I know it's a drop of prevention with a drop of medicine or whatever, or a cure, but like one drop of positivity can like just negate an entire bucket of negativity, you know?
Mm-hmm. I know exactly what you mean.
All right, man. Sweet, bro. So let's put a bow on it. Last thing we want to talk about, we have an event coming up, which is the Florida versus Texas battle. This is coming up in April. You and Suave are going to be in town for it, correct?
I plan on being here for that, yes.
Awesome. Outstanding. So we're going to have guys from all three cities battling out to see who's the best of the best. Believe Florida is going to be sending up 5 guys, potentially 6. So you ladies stay tuned for it. Make sure you keep an eye on it. And for any of the guys that listen to the podcast, remember, every Thursday we have an amateur night. You can come in somewhere between 10 p.m. and midnight. We do our amateur night contest where you go on stage and test your mettle against the crowd and see if you got what it takes to join the dream team.
Oh, man. This past amateur night.
Why, was it good or bad? I don't watch them. I have too much empathy.
You watch it?
No, I don't.
Boy, I tell you, man, you know what? Let's just move on. Let's just keep going.
I mean,
there's no way I can put it in words. It's not possible.
All right, fair enough. That's one of the reasons why I don't watch it. All right. All right, Dingo, where can people reach you at?
Well, let me tell you. You can find me on Facebook under Mandingo Jones. If you're looking for my music page on Facebook, it is Hene, Hene. On Instagram, I go by Hene Train, HENETRAIN. And on Twitter, I go by HEN3TRAIN, one word. So it's like Hene Train, except the second E in Hene is a 3. Cool, right? Okay. So I'm also on SoundCloud. You can catch me on SoundCloud under HENE hyphen and then train. I believe I have given y'all all the information I can give for one day.
Outstanding. Sweet. Well, as usual, you can catch me on Facebook at Cesar Collazo, COLLAZO. My Instagram and Twitter is CesarLabear7. You can catch this podcast as well as the reality show that both myself and Henny Train, aka Mandingo Jones, aka Django, is on the on YouTube at Cesar LaBear. And finally, I started Twitch streaming. So Twitch TV /Jedi_EJ, JEDI_EJ. You can catch me streaming some of the video games I play, as well as my cosplay creation stuff. And I will soon start setting it up with a camera to start streaming both my aerial stuff as well as my fire flow. And actually, I might have Dingo over at the house one day so we could practice outside and some stuff. Actually, you know what's funny? If you can figure out how exactly you're supposed to tie the the string, I have a couple of fire batons that you might be able to play around with. They might have a similar balance point to your glow rod.
Really?
Yeah. I literally, minus a flame sword and a fire whip, I have every single type of fire instrument possible, because that's just one of my passions. So I think I have double batons. I just never got around to really becoming proficient with them. So just something the way I play. If not, we can definitely play around with our LEDs. It's dark enough out here. There's not enough city lights. So, but all right,
perfect.
Cool, man. Appreciate you being on the show. Much obliged. Also, we probably should think about having you do our sign-offs from now on. Since I'm always going to do the intro, maybe you could start coming up with sign-offs. So I'll let you brainstorm that a little bit. Maybe you'll do like a quick 10-second weekly sing-along or something for the crowd. Or do
on Diesel Dog.
Jason. Yeah.
Diesel Dog. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. See, we'll just write down which one you sing every week.
You know.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys again for tuning in. Much appreciated. And until next time, keep bringing the rain.
I am focused, I'm in my zone. You can binge watch like Game of Thrones. Reserve your judgments, don't throw no stones. Oohs and I scream as loud as you go. Airplane mode on tablets and phones. Caesar's crowd pleasers is now on. Caesar, the crowd pleaser. If you need to pick me up, ladies, we gon' change your demeanor. Caesar, the crowd pleaser. We gon' do a little dance, we gon' make the naysayers believe us.